Hi YouTube, welcome to the 10-minute update. Here we are going to go shortly over a couple of topics. Obviously, we're going to start with the Wooting 2 Lekker edition. Then we're going to get into the Wooting 2 HE. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Fortnite and what's going on. And we're going to end it with a small update for the Deskpad mousepads that we've been working on. And we've been getting questions about what's going on with it. So there is an update there. Kevin is going to kick it off with Wooting 2 Lekker edition. And then we get into the rest. So Kevin, how is the Wooting 2 Lekker edition doing? Where is the production?
The production still on the date, and we we have the timeline, which will happen on next week, still followed by the schedule of our meeting with the factory. And so I'm going to deliver the first news of we passed the EMI testing on this week, Monday. Hooray!
What happened?
We have some little issues after the first EMI testing, which we use for this MP version, and after that we find out the lab, which is there's a third party of the lab, which is verifying all of the different electronic parts. So it cannot happen in a certain factory. It needs to have a certificate in a third party, it's more rightful. And so we found out there didn't pass with a very highly frequency of certain hertz or something. I'm not really the expert here, but actually
there's a lot of electric interference was the result. Yes, much more than we had in the previous test.
Yeah, and it's really weird because we didn't add up a lot of change which might cause this problem. So we took a very deep and spent some time to look deeply into it. And later we found out because when we do flashing or production for this testing for the EMI stuff, there's 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the lab, before they send to the lab, and after that we actually update a firmware, which is for our other purpose. It's not sending for the lab, but the factory guy got mistake. So he thinks, there's an update button on the. We have a little production or software inside.
Who can't resist the green update button?
Yeah, who can resist the update so big just on the middle of your screen? So he just hit it, and then he has the, let's say, the wrong file, which is the wrong firmware, which shouldn't be uploaded into the keyboard because that keyboard is going to send to the EMI test. Yeah, so after we found out this, we just get the lab to send back those keyboard back to the factory, and we just reflash it again. And because this took because the lab capacity is very full, I think not sure why. Maybe it's because it's near the CNY Chinese New Year season, so everybody is just want to hurry things up. So it takes almost 1 week later, I think. 1 week to 1.5 weeks. So we flash the correct firmware and we send back to the lab, and the result come out from Monday, which we passed the EMI test. Yeah,
thankfully.
Thankfully.
If we did not,
since we passed the EMI test, that is the green light, a part of the green light that we can go MP. Yeah,
exactly. We would not pass EMI test, no matter what we would do. Would probably not be allowed to do mass production.
Yes, it's more like a standard procedures happening in this factory or assembling factory. Yeah.
All right. So you said we're still on date, but 22nd of January that's when the production should have been. So what's going on? Where's the keyboard?
Right. This brings up the kind of serious questions because after 23rd of January, I believe, we got the news from the factory says because there's they have the factory is in China, but you also have an office in Taipei. But near the factory in China, near the small town, they have an outbreak of the COVID-19. And we didn't get a very full picture of these informations, but according to our contact in the factory, she said a lot of workers, like operators on the line of assembly line, hear of this outbreak, and they haven't been exposed on the COVID, but it's very near to the factory, so they kind of like get panic, and a lot of workers just quit their job. And according to the contact we have, is in total is 700 people just quit in one time. So it's like
Over the weekend.
everybody just over the weekend. So I assume they just I don't know, disappear, or like, oh, I'm gonna quit because the COVID. So and these certainly impact the whole MP timeline, which is one, and the other because we got a cable supplier which is also in the same small town, or like the same district with this factory. They just share the same. I think there's a business district or something. So this COVID thing is just scare a lot of people. So at the same time, some workers and that factory, the cable factory, which is different factory from the assembly one, they also, I think they also lost some workers. Some workers just also quit. So also these panic things delay our cable production, which they should already finish our cable, the Lekker cable.
So we should have already received it, but it got delayed.
Yeah, it got delayed. Yeah, but this is it's just not only happened in one certain factory. That is what I want to say. Yeah. So we have to like postpone one week from the 23rd of January to next week because the shortage of manpower. Yeah. But we still have a chance, and we think we have a chance to still do the MP, finish the MP before Chinese New Year. Yeah, and that is a goal. And judged by the circumstances now and the information we have now, it's pretty confident we can still do and finish the MP before Chinese New Year. Yeah.
Yeah, but it does mean that we cannot get the keyboards out before Chinese New Year. So basically, we're gonna finish the whole Wooting 2 Lekker production before Chinese New Year, within the next week, and then it's just gonna be at the factory in the warehouse waiting until Chinese New Year is over, and we can pick it up and then start shipment. And there's like no other way around it. The cutoff date for forwarders and freight shipping is just like past. It's like on the 1st of February, so it's like basically next Monday is like it's cut. You can't do it anymore, I think. Today's kind of the last day you can ship it out. In other words, yeah. So that makes it really impossible to get it out before Chinese New Year on the boat. All right, so then okay, that sucks. And if you are a Wooting 2 Lekker edition backer, I also recommend you to go to Discord and read the announcement. There's also more information about this update that Kevin just talked about. And there will be a blog post with the whole production when it happens next week. We at least have like a small trial production happening next week. They will do a small assembly of keyboards already. That will all be in the blog post somewhere after that. So not next, but the week after. And then Wooting 2 HE. I mean, there must be people in this chat right now who have Wooting 2 HE, and people watching on YouTube. You have a Wooting 2 HE? Where's the HE, Kevin? What's happening with the HE? Why don't we hear anything about the HE? Where's HE updates?
HE update dropping now. Okay, so because we received, I believe it's 2 weeks ago, they shipped out the first we call EVT sample of the PCBA of HE, because there's a little small difference from the Lekker and the HE on the PCBA, and so we want to get more first step of this get hand into this prototype or PCBA stuff. So you take his most of his time, and also Simon with the Lekker, and finish Lekker, then focus on the HE. So because Lekker is still most important thing in our priority. So after they receive the PCBA, they examine it and test a lot of little function here and there, and test the software, firmware, this kind of stuff, and it checks out it's really working well on the HE PCBA. So I think they can confidently say this is no really like big changes here and there. They will have no changes now. Yeah, and we can smoothly to close this development of HE PCBA. Yeah, this is the PCBA side, and also at the same time I'm working on two main thing of the HE. One is all related to packaging. So we have a very very cool and different and didn't do it before kind of different style of color box packaging. So basically it's the HE packaging. We do it in a different way. We do it more. You will see. I'm gonna to share anything information detail, but you're gonna to have a hope and you need to picture it. So we come up a great and cool idea about how to do the box and how to optimize it with a very nice touch. And also because the ISO version will have split the keycaps from the keyboard, so it means we will have our own keycap blister packaging. And so I've been working on this like I don't know, like 1 or 2 weeks, very put into it, because it's really a little bit difficult for me, because this is my first time to do the blister thing. So blister is just you will have those ISO orders. You will receive two packaging. One is the keycap blister, which is just a blister, and you will receive I think it's 109 keycaps into it with your own language. So if you're German or like
we have
UK ISO, right? And there's a Nordic, right?
Yes.
And so different users receive different language in a certain box, like a keycap blister, a plastic film. Yeah. And the other box you will receive is the keyboard itself without the keycap.
Yeah.
So
that would only be for ISO languages, not for ANSI.
Yeah. For the HE, it's also more focused on the ISO, because the ANSI one will be just pre-installed in the keyboard. Yeah. But we took a more further step on develop this blister. We think of maybe we can use this for a longer period, or maybe for a future project. So we also add compatibility with the ANSI one. So this keycap blister can also fit in with any full-size layout of the ANSI. Yeah. So because the compatibility, it took more time to.
This is going to be a start for us to start working on offering more keycap options in the future.
Yeah.
Right now we're using it for the HE. Yeah. All right. So it sounds like HE is still pretty much on track, right?
Yeah, it is.
And what about? I see already a question. What about the timeline of the HE? So HE is planned to ship on April 2021. But we're going to update the timeline to a more realistic timeline once we have more information about when we can schedule the production, and we've confirmed PVT, because there's still like some open parts, and it's really hard to start estimating right now when we can exactly start shipping. So we're still following the original timeline that we set out. And after Chinese New Year, when we continue on the development and we can focus on the HE completely, we'll create a new and more detailed schedule, and also share more updates about the HE in general.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're really killing it at the 10 minutes. So we're gonna do these last couple of things a little bit faster, and we'll get more into details after the 10-minute update. Then Fortnite. Before I started the 10-minute update, I already talked a little bit into the Fortnite things. In short, it comes down to is that in the US, we now maybe still have like 200 Wooting 1 keyboards left, and then it's sold out. It will not be back in stock. We have no more Wooting 1 productions. Wooting 1 will not restock. So whatever we have right now is what we have. Once it's sold out, it's sold out. There will be no more Wooting 1. Wooting 2 in the US, we still have a little batch somewhere, which we're going to get in, I don't know, by next week. I don't know if it's in pre-order now, Wooting 2, but there's still like a small batch that we can get in. And then that one will also be completely sold out. And just to clarify, this is Wooting 2 with the FlareTech switches. This is not about Wooting 2 HE, which is the keyboard that's coming in April. So Wooting 2 with the FlareTech switches is also not coming back in stock. It's just like sold out is sold out. In Europe, however, we already sold out. So maybe there's a few Wooting 2 FlareTech models in stock in Europe, but Wooting 1 is completely out. And that will also not restock because we don't do these productions anymore. And in short, the reason is because we are behind on our keyboard development. We should have already had our Lekker edition keyboards on the market, Lekker Switch keyboards on the market, and have had a new model by now. But we're just behind because of all the world circumstances and development with Wooting 2 Lekker edition. We will release a alternative keyboard for the Wooting 1, meaning smaller, 10 keyless or smaller layout. We are working on it. It is not going to be here before the Wooting 2 HE. It's not going to be there a month after the Wooting 2 HE. But we will start as soon as we can start sharing more about it, since, I mean, basically we'll have no stock later, so why not already share about the keyboard we're developing? We will share information as we go through the developments, and when it's ready to release, we'll release it. And when we release it, we're going to try to do it together with as much pro players as we can. But we're kind of figuring out how we're going to do this. So this new layout is in the works. We'll share more information about this at a later point. I do recommend you just to follow us on Twitter or join our Discord if you want to be updated, or subscribe to the newsletter with your email, and you'll receive an update on this whenever we have more information. Okay, I think that covers Fortnite, the critical things. Then, small update on the Deskpad Mousepad, Kevin.
Yeah.
I'll do a small, you can already grab the stuff. Deskpad Mousepad, we've been working on this. Some of you know we've been working on this for over a year now. No, for almost a year now. And it's a long development, but we're getting there. This is not going to be your stupid rubber foaming whatever print Deskpad on it. What Kevin has in his hands is not the Deskpad itself, but it's the cloth with the print, where we're testing the colors and seeing the resolution of the print on the cloth that we're going to use. But it doesn't have the silicone back, which our Deskpads will have. So basically, the Wooting Deskpads and Mousepads will be a cloth top with a silicone bottom, and it's going to be merged together with a natural process. So we don't use any glues, no chemicals,
There's
no glues.
no glue, no chemical in the between of the cloth and silicone.
It's going to be a completely new type of Deskpad that's never been on the market before. Nobody's done this like we're doing it before. I think for it being a silicone product, it's going to have a great price. And we even got now, we'll have two cloths. We'll have this classic cloth, which Kevin has now. Okay. One of the classic cloths for Deskpad in his hands. And the classic cloth is kind of like your go-to cloth. It's more, let's say, the more affordable cloth, because it's a more standard cloth. You can see it as a hybrid cloth if you want to. I'm not gonna get too much into the terms. Then we'll have another cloth called Stamina. The Stamina cloth is going to be a speed cloth. We call it a performance cloth inside because it's just much better it has very low friction, it has great durability, and it's a little bit on the rough side, but it stays consistent. It's uniform X and Y, so it doesn't matter which direction you go with your mouse, it all feels the same. So Kevin is now showing the Deskpad with a classic cloth. This is going to be one of the designs. So, okay, the edges. Now, somebody's mentioning the edges here, Kevin.
Yeah. So, okay.
So the edges.
The edges. It
Yeah.
will be very hard to show, but we didn't really think of. We choose not to use the stitch because certain reason we can explain later. But now you can see on the edge it's just purely cut out with the die cut mode, so it's purely just I don't know, cloth. We don't use stitch for now.
Yeah, and the reason for, so you should imagine this pad gets like, after it's like made, it's had like a really big piece, and then the Deskpad is like cut out of the big piece. Now, because of the silicone being merged with the cloth, it shouldn't, you know, when it comes to durability, the edges should not be a problem. But we received the sample, and you know, we did the thing that we always do, we do these stupid vigorous tests here and there, and then we find out, you know, we can do a better job at this. So we want to do something with the edges, especially let's say the mouse edge, to make 100% sure that it will never fray and it will always stay pristine. So there's some ideas about how we can improve the edges, and that's something that's in the works right now. It's also what kind of delays the product because we want to add it.
Yeah.
But we're working on it, and it's coming as soon as we can. We're really excited about the product also. How washable would it be is I saw a question on Twitch, which is a great question, because that's one of the biggest thing about these Deskpads and Mousepads that we will bring out. You can wash them at like 40, 50, 60, 70 degrees. You just throw it in the washing machine and it will be no problem, because there's no glue.
Friendly washable.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw it into the washing machine and let the machine do the job.
Yep. And that's one of the best things about it. It's really, really easy to clean. Okay. That was a 10-minute update. So thank everybody on YouTube. Thank you for watching the 10-minute update. If you never joined the Twitch live stream before, join the Twitch live stream next time. It's every 2 weeks on a Friday, where we have this 10-minute update and we have an open conversation with chat, as you can see right here. Oh wait, this super well-behaving chat that's even saying goodbye to you guys. I mean, what can you do? You can only love these guys, right? So join the Twitch live stream next time, and see you otherwise in the next update.